Thank you for tuning in to VNA News Daily Bulletin. Coming up next, we have your top stories. National Assembly Chairman Nguyễn Sinh Hùng begins official visit to China. Vietnam News Agency signs cooperation agreement with Laos counterpart. Vietnam expects to draw larger inflow of FDI in 2016. The operation of the first turbine of the Liyue hydropower plant, a key work of Vietnam, was marked with a celebration in the northern mountainous province of Liyue on December 23rd. Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng attended the event.
In his speech, Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng said the Liyue hydropower project is designed to have a total capacity of 1,200 megawatt and generate an annual turnover of 7 trillion Vietnam dong, about $310.45 million. When fully operational, the plant will join the other counterparts on the mainstream Liyue, Sơn La, and Hòa Bình to provide about one-third, equivalent to 25 billion kilowatt-hour a year, to Vietnam's total hydroelectricity output. He appreciated continuous efforts by the investor, the state-owned Electricity of Vietnam, and over 8,000 technicians, engineers, and workers during almost 5 years to put the first turbine into operation and make it part of the national grid. He also highlighted relevant ministries, sectors, and agencies' cooperation with and assistance to the EVN during the project construction and local authorities' resettlement of about 8,500 residents to serve the work. The first turbine officially generated electricity to the national grid on December 14th this year, 3 months ahead of schedule. This is a prerequisite for the completion of the entire project in 2016, 1 year earlier than the set target. The plant, the third largest of its kind on the Liyue, also hoped to fuel the socio-economic development and help ensure security defense in the northwestern region.
Within the framework of his official visit to China, Chairman of the Vietnamese National Assembly Nguyễn Sinh Hùng met with Chinese Party General Secretary and State President Xi Jinping in Beijing on December 23rd. Our reporter will have more details. During the meeting, Chairman Hùng affirmed that the party and state of Vietnam always attach importance to relations between Vietnam and China. In that spirit, he suggested Vietnam and China step up the implementation of common perceptions and agreements reached by their senior leaders. The Vietnamese official also stressed the need to further bilateral ties in many realms in order to strengthen political relations, solidarity, friendship, and cooperation between the two countries. Regarding maritime issues, the National Assembly leader underscored the agreement reached by Party General Secretaries Nguyễn Phú Trọng and Xi Jinping on enhancing political trust through the proper settlement of matters on which the two sides still have different views. He affirmed that Vietnam's party and state agreed to work with China to increase mutual understanding, increase dialogue and consultation, and look for long-term solutions acceptable to both sides, while effectively controlling the situation and maintaining stability at sea. For his part, General Secretary and President Xi Jinping stated the party and state of China always attach importance to and back cooperation between the Chinese and Vietnamese legislatures, considering this as an important component of the China-Vietnam Comprehensive Strategic Cooperative Partnership. The leaders also consented to continue increasing high-level meetings between the two countries in a bid to instruct and beef up the sustainable development of bilateral ties. The same day, National Chairman Nguyễn Sinh Hùng met the staff of the Vietnamese Embassy and representatives of the Vietnamese community in Beijing. On the occasion of Christmas 2015, leaders of the party and the Vietnam Fatherland Front visited and congratulated Catholic dignitaries and followers in Hanoi and Kon Tum province.
Visiting the Archdiocese of Hanoi on December 23rd, Politburo member and permanent member of the Party Central Committee's Secretariat, Lê Hồng Anh, informed them about the country's socio-economic achievements, which have been actively contributed by Protestants nationwide. He spoke highly of the Hanoi Catholics' efforts in reducing poverty, building new-style rural areas, and ensuring social order and safety. Archbishop Nguyễn Văn Nhân thanked the party and state for supporting the Archdiocese of Hanoi, affirming its determination to make more contributions to the nation. Visiting the Evangelical Church of Vietnam North, Anh praised Protestants and pastors of the church for following guidelines of the party and policies of the state and actively responding to patriotic emulation movements. Pastor Nguyễn Hiếu Mạc briefed the Politburo member on main activities of the church in the past time. The same day, Politburo member and president of the Fatherland Fund Central Committee Nguyễn Thiện Nhân extended Christmas greetings to Catholics in the Central Highland Province of Kon Tum's diocese. Nhân said he hopes each Vietnamese Catholic will be a good and patriotic citizen who is always on the side of the nation during the course of development.
General Director of Vietnam News Agency Nguyễn Đức Lợi held talks with General Director of Laos News Agency Xuân Thong Khantavong in Vientiane on December 23rd to review the bilateral professional cooperation in the 2011 to 2015 period.
At the talks, they also discussed measures to further increase the effectiveness of the bilateral cooperation, especially in information exchange in 2016 when Laos assumes the ASEAN chair. General Director Nguyễn Đức Lợi affirmed that Vietnam News Agency wants to step up cooperation with its Lao counterpart, especially between KPL journalists and Vietnam News Agency correspondents in Vientiane. For the 2016-2020 period, the two news agencies agreed to continue their comprehensive cooperation and mutual assistance to improve the quality of news, share experience in personnel training, and increase the exchange of delegations. The two leaders agreed to collaborate in external affairs at international and regional forums. After their talks, the leaders of the two news agencies signed a cooperation agreement for the 2016-2020 period. The same day, General Director Nguyễn Đức Lợi and his entourage were welcomed by Politburo member and Deputy Prime Minister of Laos Phan Kham Viphavan, who spoke highly of the outcomes of cooperation between the two news agencies over the past time. The Lao leader stressed that the cooperation between the two news agencies is on the right track, especially in personnel training and information exchange. He also affirmed that Laos will support and create favorable conditions for further cooperation between the two news agencies. For his part, Vietnam News Agency General Director Nguyễn Đức Lợi said, in the coming time, the two news agencies will continue to strengthen their cooperation and step up mutual assistance while covering big events next year, when Laos chairs ASEAN and holds its 10th Party Congress.
Standard & Poor's said Vietnam's economy has started to thrive, while most Asian economies are slowing down and moving towards consumer-led growth.
According to S&P, 4 years ago, the Vietnamese economy was struggling with non-performing loans as the government focused on feeding credit to its state-owned enterprises. However, since then, the country has attracted sufficient foreign direct investment to drive strong export growth, despite sluggish demand and falling global prices. Electronics exports have been growing at almost 33% per year for 3 years, making up from 18 to 29% of the total exports. Meanwhile, garment and textiles have stayed at some 20% of all exports. Overall, the FDI doubled from 2012 to 2014, compared to the previous 3 years. Japan and the Republic of Korea each contributed some 22%, Singapore 60%, mainland China and Hong Kong 30%. The size of the workforce in Vietnam, which has a population of 91 million, is an important element, S&P said, attributing the productivity to the provision of new cutting-edge equipment.
Vietnam is expected to attract more foreign investment next year and in the future due to the opportunities and advantages resulting from free trade agreements.
The Central Institute of Economic Management said the free trade agreements, the Trans-Pacific Partnership Deal, and the pact between Vietnam and the EU would open great opportunities for Vietnam to attract additional foreign investments. The two large trade agreements include commitments related to Vietnam's policies and regulations on foreign enterprises, competition, e-commerce, public procurement, labor, environment, and intellectual property rights. Therefore, the Institute said when implementing the commitments, Vietnam would promote socio-economic reforms for all sides. This would increase the confidence of investors based upon Vietnam's improved investment environment. The General Statistics Office reported disbursement of FDI in Vietnam reached an estimated $13.2 billion from the beginning of this year through November 20th, up 17.9% against 2014.
The number of newly established real estate firms has seen a year-on-year increase of 77.8%, the highest rate among all sectors.
The figure shows a positive signal of the poverty market, said Vietnam Real Estate Association, adding that many real estate firms have resumed their operation this year. Domestic investors have pinned a high hope in the recovery of the market as Vietnam completed negotiations on the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, which is expected to have increased the liquidity of the estate goods. Since the beginning of this year, the property market has shown its magnet against other fields such as stocks, gold, foreign currency, or savings. By the end of the third quarter of 2015, Hanoi saw 5,300 successful transactions, up 70%. The number reached 5,100 in Ho Chi Minh City, doubling that of the same period last year.
Vietnam has seen positive results in implementing ethnic affairs over the years, heard a recent seminar reviewing policies and laws relating to poverty reduction for ethnic minorities during the 2011 to 2015 period.
According to the December 22nd seminar organized by the National Assembly's Council for Ethnic Affairs in collaboration with the UN Development Programme, the newly promulgated policies proved effective, while several existing ones were adjusted to be more suitable for the ethnic minority groups. All targets set for poverty alleviation in the ethnic inhabited areas were reached, with the rate of poor households falling by from 2 to 2.36% annually. However, there remained several weaknesses during the implementation process. The ethnic inhabited area's socio-economic growth rate was still slow, while their development gap with other regions nationwide was big. Ministries, sectors, and localities should review all existing poverty reduction policies to have necessary adjustments and supplements. They were also asked to intensify international cooperation to accelerate the fulfillment of Millennium Development Goals for ethnic minority groups.
The best 16 photos of a contest themed 2015 National Tourism Year Thanh Hóa were awarded at a ceremony in the central province of Thanh Hóa on December 23rd.
The event formed part of the activities in the closing week for the 2015 National Tourism Year Thanh Hóa. The winners were selected from more than 300 artworks by nearly 40 professional and amateur photographers from across the nation. They depict the history, culture, landscapes, and people of the central province of Thanh Hóa, as well as events during the National Tourism Year. Other 65 outstanding photos have been selected to be showcased during the week.
And we have reached the end of our news bulletin. Thank you for tuning in. For more information, please log on to our website at www.vietnamplus.vn. We'll see you soon.